All right, good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well today. Let's see, it is right at 2 o'clock, so when everybody's ready, we will get started.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Hi, Ms. Falk, how are you today?
Doing well.
Good, good. Hope you had a nice weekend.
I did, thank you. I hope you did as well.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, courtroom 2.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Afternoon. We're ready, I believe, whenever you all are. And just so you all know, cases that are reset to the state all-purpose calendar, that will be February 15th.
Good afternoon, Judge. This is Sergeant Jones. If we can have a breakout session for position number 13, Mr. Martinez, she's very combative. We're trying to get her done so we can get her back to medical. Please.
Okay.
She's very combative.
All right, Sergeant. Let's see, who represents Ms. Martinez?
Sorry, she's not in here yet.
She's coming in. Norris bringing her in now because we just almost had a problem with her. So I want to get her seen and off this calendar if possible, please.
Okay.
And then we can start at courtroom number 3, Judge.
Okay.
If you just give me one moment, okay?
Okay, that's fine. Who's representing Martinez? All right, Ms. Gant, do you know who's representing Ms. Martinez this afternoon?
Your Honor, I believe it's Ms. Gant. She may be frozen.
Oh, okay.
And Your Honor, while we're waiting for Ms. Gant to unfreeze, we will also need to break out on position 14, Adrian Demon. I'm probably butchering that name.
Okay. And apparently we're going to need breakout rooms for interpreter positions 4, 8, and 13.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you with us, Ms. Gant? I see you moving, Ms. Gant. Are you with us?
Yeah, she sent a message, said that she couldn't hear anything, so she's gonna log out and log back on.
Okay.
Courtroom number 2. We're holding on Ms. Grant. But could y'all put the other inmates? Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
This is Martinez. Judge, whenever you're ready.
Okay, I can't go yet because Ms. Martinez's lawyer is having some technical difficulties. So as soon as she gets on with us, I am happy to begin in courtroom 2 with Ms. Martinez. As we're waiting for that, courtroom 3, can we go to, can we start with that one?
Your Honor.
No, Judge, we got to do Ms. Martinez first. I do
Your Honor, this might have
apologize.
to be a medical reset.
Yes, because
Okay.
we have to get her out the courtroom.
Okay,
I do
so,
apologize.
all right, I understand, but I can't do
Okay.
anything until there's an attorney here. So if she needs to have a medical reset, then that's what we'll have to do until tomorrow. So we'll reset her for February 1st, tomorrow. Okay, is that fine, courtroom 3?
Yes, Judge, thank you. Norris,
Okay.
if you all can take her back, we're gonna medical reset her.
Take it back, man.
Come on, Martinez.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Judge.
That's no problem. All right, let's all just take a breath. So we'll get this started in just a moment. All right, so it does not appear that Ms. Gant is on with us. Who else is on with us this afternoon? I see public defender, Ms. Kim.
Yes, I'm here, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. What positions do you have this afternoon?
I do have from 1, 2, 3, no, not the 3 one. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I need to go to a breakout room for Spanish interpreters. Case number 4 and 8.
Okay, so before we go to a breakout room, let's wait till we have Miss Gant back on the line. Courtroom 2, did you hear, or courtroom 3, did you hear any of those numbers that are Miss Kim's clients?
Yes, I just have 3, 9, 11, and 15 in courtroom 3, Judge. I'm sorry.
Okay, so is 3 yours, Miss Kim?
Jennifer Franklin, I believe, is conflict. So probably
Okay.
Miss Marine.
Afternoon, Your Honor. That is my case.
Okay, hi, good afternoon, Ms. McLeod. Can we go to position number 3 then?
Okay, there you go.
Good afternoon, Ms. Franklin. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes. Hello.
Okay, we can hear you, Ms. Gant, but we cannot see you. So I can hear you. Ms. Franklin, you've been charged in case 22 CR 000419Y with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Jennifer Franklin, first arrest.
Okay. Ms. Guidry, good afternoon. Is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
Okay, you can proceed.
Okay, here, Your Honor, officers arrived at 3000 Randall Street, and this is on January 28th in East Point. They spoke with the defendant, who stated that there was a verbal altercation between her and Tremica, that's Tremica, Howard, where the defendant states that she got upset. She grabbed Mr. Howard's face to stop him from walking away from her because Mr. Howard stated that he was going to call the police. The defendant advised that she threw her metal walker at him and she tried to prevent Howard from leaving out of the door, in which she placed her foot in front of the door, causing an injury to herself. They then spoke to Mr. Howard, who stated that he tried to defend himself from being attacked by the defendant. The defendant scratched Mr. Howard on his left forearm, left lower leg, and the back right side of his neck. He also advised that the defendant threw the walker at him, but she missed due to Mr. Howard dodging it. Officers observed the scratches, which broke the skin and caused Mr. Howard to bleed. At the time of the arrest, the defendant and Mr. Howard did live together. Your Honor, we do understand that this is her first arrest, but given the circumstances at hand, we're recommending a $2,500 surety bond, a stay away from 3000 Randall Street in East Point, no further contact with Tremica Howard, a 1-day anger awareness, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. We did talk to the victim. He stated that they live together and that they are in a relationship. They don't share any children. He stated that he does not fear the defendant and he wants the defendant to come back home. However, Your Honor, given the circumstances of this case, we're asking for those conditions in the bond.
Thank you, Ms. Guidry. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. My client, as the court has noted, this is her first arrest. She's 47 years old. She is currently handicapped, so she does not work. She doesn't have the resources to post a surety bond, Your Honor. She lives in that house. It is her primary residence. It is true that she and the alleged victim have been in a relationship for the past 11 years, but they do not currently live together. She actually lives in the house with her 17-year-old son, she tells me, who is currently in high school. She says they were just having an argument and the argument got a little bit out of control. This is obviously not a pattern for her, Your Honor. This is something out of the ordinary. She says she thought she had heard her son coming in and she was a little concerned and the defendant was shouting at her and she got a little bit upset. As I said, it's out of character for her. She's not a flight risk. She was born and grew up in the state of Georgia in Metro Atlanta, and she has lived in East Point for many years, Your Honor. So I think she is a good candidate for a signature bond, and she's definitely not a flight risk.
Okay. Anything further, Ms. Guidry?
Yeah, I mean, again, we just state that the defendant did admit to throwing at least her walker at the victim. So we are concerned for his safety at that time, Your Honor.
All right, it's gonna be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial, one-day anger awareness class, no further violent contact with Mr. Howard, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. All right, good luck to you, Ms. Franklin.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, let's see. Who do we have next?
Judge, position number 9. Ms. Johnson, please. I don't know if she's Ms. Grant client or not. Ms. Grant.
Are you on with us, Ms. Gant?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay, we're at position 9. Is that your client?
Yes, it is, Your Honor. I do
Okay.
apologize for my audio difficulties.
Oh, that's no problem. We understand it happens, Ms. Gant, so. Just let us know if you cannot, if you need any additional assistance, if you can't hear anything of that nature, okay?
Yes, thank you, I will.
And I do want you to know that your client, Ms. Martinez, has been reset medical until tomorrow, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Ms. Johnson. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? You're on mute, courtroom 3.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon. Do you agree to have your case heard by video, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson, you've been charged in case 22 CR 000424G with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Kelly Johnson, 8 total. Last arrest was February 2020. Disorderly conduct, trespass. Got convictions for possession of a firearm by convicted felon, possession of a knife during the commission, felony theft by receiving. That was from 03. She went to felony earlier. Let me see. She got a signature bond in felony first appearance earlier.
For what charge?
Let's see. State, do you know offhand? I can look it up. But I don't know offhand. Hold on.
Theft by taking.
Yeah, felony theft by taking.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Howard. Ms. Duncan?
Yes, Your Honor, this incident took place on February 26, 2020 at 3565 Roosevelt Highway in College Park. At the time, officers encountered the defendant, and the defendant was told to leave the location, which was a Chevron, and the defendant told the police at that time that they were not going anywhere and that they were going to have to be taken to jail. Given the facts in this case, Your Honor, the state is recommending a $3,000 signature bond, a stay away from the incident location, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
This is a 2020 case. Has she hadn't been charged with going back to that Chevron?
Not that I could see, Your Honor. That's why
Where's
the
the
state is recommending a signature.
Okay. Where's the Chevron located?
The address for the Chevron is 3565 Roosevelt Highway in College Park, 30349.
Okay, thank you. You don't object to a signature bond, do you, Ms. Gant?
No, I do not, Your Honor, but I want to bring to the court's attention, as we heard from pretrial, she was arrested for an almost identical offense on December 20th. And according to Ms. Johnson, this she believes that this arrest is because of the allegation at that same exact Chevron. So I believe that this is a duplicate charge. She states that she bonded out, but I guess because, well, not but she states that she had initially heard about a court date in April of 2020. However, that was during the pandemic when I'm sure court operations were suspended. We do consent to the signature bond, but would also ask for a dismissal in the alternative.
All right, I'm going to let you work that at a different time. I'm going to give you a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. And she's to stay away from that Chevron located at 3565 Roosevelt Highway. All right, good luck to you, Ms. Johnson.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Who do we have next?
Position number 11, Knight, please. What's your last name? Okay, have a seat. Thank you. You got proper time?
Good afternoon, Ms. Knight. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Knight, you've been charged in case 22 CR 000425C with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Second arrest. Last was 2012, driving without a valid license. Conviction.
Ms. Duncan?
Your Honor, in this case, police responded to a domestic disturbance call at 3400 Creek Point Drive, which is the courtyard by Marriott Atlanta Airport. And once on scene, officers were notified that the defendant in this case had hit her fiance, the victim in this case, and Mr. William Arnold, in the head with her hand. Our victim advocate tried to contact the victim, and however, it was an unsuccessful attempt. Given the nature of this offense, we are concerned for the victim's safety. We are requesting a $3,000 surety bond. No further contact with the victim in this case, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, and a one-day anger awareness. The state would just like to make the court aware that that is not the location at which they reside. They both reside at 100 Smith Avenue, apartment 5, and the warrant says there's at least a total of 2 children. We're not sure if those children are shared between the two, but if they are, the state would request a third-party contact for those children.
Thank you. Ms. Gant, is this your client?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
I see Mr. Arnold on the line with us. Would you like me to see, to take his testimony if he desires to have testimony first?
He desires to testify, however, I would like to present first.
Okay, that's fine. Mr. Arnold, I'll be back with you in a moment. If you'd like to testify, I'll give you that opportunity, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Gant.
All right, thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Savannah Kite is 27 years old. She was born in Florida, but has been in Georgia for the past 13 years. She lives in Georgia, Reedsville, which is about 3 hours away from Atlanta, with her children and her fiance. She also has a mother in Reedsville. However, Ms. Savannah Kite works in the Atlanta metro area. She works for FedEx as a ground driver, and she stays in the city during the week. The hotel that she was staying at is the 3400 Creek Point Drive in Fulton County. I did receive a chance to speak to Mr. Arnold. He states that he wants to continue having contact with Ms. Arnold. Therefore, I am opposed to the no further contact order by the state and would request a no violent contact order. Furthermore, I am opposed to any stayaways if they were, well, I don't see any stayaways that were presented, but I am opposed to any stayaways at that residence, the residential address, 100 Smith Avenue. Ms. Kite is the proud mother of 2 children, 2 daughters that she shares with Mr. Arnold. Again, I stated that she is employed at FedEx. She completed high school. She disputes the allegations, given that she has no prior violent history, no FTAs, and community ties. I am asking Your Honor for a signature bond. Thank you.
Mr. Arnold, if you would like to testify, I'll need for you to raise your right hand for me. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can put your hand down, sir. What would you like to tell the court?
I would just like to say that this was a freak incident. You know, this isn't something that ever has happened before. You know, there was a lot of alcohol involved, which is no excuse. We're in an area we didn't know. We were overwhelmed with a lot of people, and, you know, an argument broke out. You know, she's never done anything like this before. She's not a violent person. Me and her work very well together as parents. We do have 2 children together. Our home life is great. We've never had any problems before, like anything like this. You know, I know alcohol is not really an excuse, but like I said, a lot of alcohol was involved, and things just got a little carried out of hand, but she's not a violent person and neither am I. And I mean, our biggest interest in life is just raising our family and trying to build a future.
All right, thank you, sir.
So-
Anything further, Ms. Duncan?
Nothing further from the state.
Okay, it's going to be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial, no further violent contact with William Arnold, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. All right, good luck to you, Ms. Knight.
Thank you.
You also, Mr. Arnold.
All right, am I free to leave this meeting now?
Yes, you're free to go.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. What do we have next?
We have position number 15, Ms. Scott, please.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Beth Jeffrey for Ms. Scott.
Good afternoon, Ms. Jeffrey. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good. Good afternoon, Ms. Scott. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Did you?
Yes. Sorry, double
Thank you,
mask.
Ms. Scott, you've been charged in case 22 CR 0000429H with driving under the influence of alcohol, concentration of 0.08 grams or more, and driving under the influence of alcohol less safe. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
First arrest.
Ms. Duncan?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, officers were in the parking lot of a QT gas station on Crossville Road, and they heard what they thought, well, they witnessed a vehicle and they heard what they thought to be a flat tire. They approached the defendant in this case. Once they caught up to the blue Toyota Corolla that she was driving going eastbound, and they noticed that the front right tire of that vehicle was missing and that the defendant was actually driving on the rim. So the officer initiated a traffic stop at that time, and when approached in the car and asked where she was going, the defendant stated that she was going home. And officers asked, "Where's home?" And she replied, "Canton, Georgia." And according to officers' observations, Canton, Georgia would have been in the opposite direction of the way in which this defendant was going. They then advised Ms. Scott that her front tire was missing, and she was not aware that it was missing at the time. And while speaking, officers detected the odor of alcohol on her breath and slurred speech, and the fact that she was disoriented. They asked if she had had any drinks. She said a few. After that, they called other officers to help with the arrest to ensure that everything was safe. They said that she appeared to be confused about her tire being detached from the car, and she was not able to provide a direct answer in terms of how much she had drank that day. Officers were unsure if she meant Canton Road, Canton Street, or Canton, Georgia, but she had stated that she was coming from Hickory Flats. At that time, officers initiated field sobriety tests in the parking lot. They observed 6 observable cues and were observed during the evaluation. And upon breathalyzing, Ms. Scott blew a 0.218, which is almost 3 times, if not above the legal limit that is allowed by law. And because of the nature of this offense and the danger that Ms. Scott presented to herself and others on the road by driving in a vehicle while under the influence and with no tire, the state is requesting a $5,000 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and no driving.
Ms. Jeffrey?
Your Honor, Ms. Scott has no criminal history. She's 42 years old. She is employed full-time as an office manager. She does have ties to the community, which include her 2 children, as well as her parents. She has lived in the Atlanta area since 2007. She has no history whatsoever. She is charged in alternative counts of the first thing that she's ever been arrested for. I would ask for bond in the amount of $1,000.
500 for each charge? Or
Yes, Your
1,000?
Honor. It is one incident, and they are alternative counts. They're not separate events.
Yes. Anything further, Ms. Duncan?
Given the nature of these events and the safety risk that it caused to Ms. Scott and the other drivers on the road, we will request the bond and conditions as stated and the limit to which she blew on the breathalyzer test.
It's going to be $1,000 good bond, $500 for each charge. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. That completes my business. May I be excused?
Yes, have a good afternoon.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position number 6 is next judge, Ms. Hill. Mr. Hill, I'm sorry. Come on, Mr. Hill. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hill. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have the case heard by video?
Yeah.
Mr. Hill, you've been charged in case 22 CR 0000422A with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
18 total. Last arrest was on the 7th of this month for criminal trespass. That's a $2,500 pretrial bond. Before that was 2013 trespass, probation violation. Underlying charge was ag assault, robbery by sudden snatch. 2013 shoplifting dismissed. 2012 shoplifting arrest. 2012 probation violations for the same charges: robbery by sudden snatch, ag assault. Trespass conviction. 2012. The FTA with that 2012 arrest was NOD. Another 2012 trespass, NOD. 2012 theft by taking. 2011 simple battery. And 2010 ag assault conviction.
Howard. Ms. Guidry?
Yes, Your Honor. Here, officers arrived at 1695 Pryor Road, Southwest Atlanta. That is three-way grocery. They spoke with the store clerk, who stated that the defendant was given a criminal trespass warning on January 12th, and the defendant returned on January 31st, approximately 3 times. The clerk had documentation of the criminal trespass warning, and she gave it to the officers. Your Honor, we'd ask that you maintain the bond. He currently has a $1,000 surety bond. A stay away from 1695 Pryor Road, Southwest Atlanta. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons. We're also requesting that trial come off of the bond for the criminal trespass that he was just arrested on the 7th. That docket number is 22CR 000095A. And as pretrial stated, he has a $2,500 pretrial signature bond. Your Honor, we're concerned that he will return to that store again, as he's returned 4 times. He was already given a criminal trespass warning as stated, and given his criminal history and his probation violations, he may be a flight risk. So as stated, we're asking that you maintain the bond with the conditions and that pretrial come off of the signature bond.
Was the 95A case, was that at the same grocery store?
Yes, Your Honor, that was the same store.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Kim, is this your client?
Yes, this is my client. Mr. Hill is 33 years old. He does not have any flight risk because he has been here for his entire life, 33 years. He has parents and he has a strong ties to the community. And actually, even he does not have a job right now. He does not have any money. Actually, he claims that he was a little bit disabled. He was not able to work. So having high bond is not really good for him at this point. He has 9-year-old boy, Mr. Harry. So he needs to take care of the small child as well. So we will greatly appreciate if the state grants, the court grants signature bond. If not, maybe $200 maximum bond. Thank you, Your Honor.
Why does he allegedly keep back to this grocery store?
Store, 3-way groceries, and store clerk is Ali Nikiema. They are not related. There's no relationship. It's okay to stay away from that location.
Well, he's been ordered to stay away from it, so, and he's been ordered to stay away from it before, so I just don't understand why he keeps having to go back, given that there's so, allegedly, given that there's so many other grocery stores or places that he can go and not end him up back here in custody. As such, it's going to be a $500 good bond. Stay away from the three-way grocery at 1695 Prior Road, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Hill.
All right. All right, we have position number 12 in courtroom 2, Mr. Mark Manus.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Jared Bendick for Mr. Manus.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Doing well also, thank you. Mr. Manus, I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Manus, you've been charged in case 22 CR 000426Y with driving under the influence of alcohol, less safe, and improper or erratic lane change. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Third arrest. Last arrest was March 2021. DUI. Possession of an open container. Failure to maintain lane. It's 21 CR 001 243 Y as in yellow. And the arrest before that was a 92 DUI NOLA.
All right, thank you. Ms. Duncan?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, it occurred on the 29th. The defendant in this case was pulling out onto Medlock Bridge Road in a black Chevy Tahoe and encountered the officer patrolling the area from a parking lot. Pulled out in front of the officer, almost into the officer, but the officer was able to avoid the collision. At that time, officers conducted a traffic stop, and the defendant was asked if he had had any alcoholic beverages, and he said that he was coming from 141 restaurant and that he had had a glass of wine and a beer. He refused to take the field sobriety test and presented with watery, bloodshot eyes. Due to the nature of this case, the state is requesting $8,000 surety bond. And given the history and the fact that this defendant was currently out on a $2,000 surety bond for similar offenses and has reoffended almost less than a year later, we request that $8,000 surety bond and no driving.
Thank you. Mr. Mitnick?
Yes, Judge. My client is not a flight risk. He's got family local to the area. He owns a home in the area. His job is in the area. He has not missed any court dates in his other pending case. He's absolutely not a flight risk whatsoever. This is not a time for punishment. This is a time to secure his appearance at future court dates, which he will be at. But to say no driving and take away that privilege at this time seems punitive more than it would to secure his presence at any other future hearing. So, Judge, we would oppose any restriction on his driving privileges. Obviously, we will have to deal with the administrative consequences of this charge, which we intend to do. But to impose a license suspension at a bond hearing seems punitive. So we would be opposed to that. As far as any surety bond, we have no objection.
You have no objection to the $8,000 good bond?
No, no objection to the surety bond, Judge, no.
All right. Anything further, Ms. Duncan?
No, Your Honor.
Where does your client work, Mr. Mitnick?
Mr. Manus, what's the name of your employer currently?
Eclipse Brand Builders.
All right, it's going to be an $8,000 good bond. I'm not going to restrict him from getting to work. I think that's important. So I'll allow him to have his driving privileges, but they will be to and from work at this time. Given that this is his third alleged DUI, I'm going to ask that he contact the DUI court within 3 days of his release. And if you need to get that information to get to him, Mr. Mitnick, I'm happy to give it to you.
Yes, Judge. Is that something you want to put in the chat, or would you like me to write it down?
Which would you prefer? I'm just gonna give you the number.
That,
So,
you can go ahead and give it to me.
okay, it's 404
404.
613 5006.
We got it, Judge.
Okay, very good.
Your Honor, just to ask, so we have it for later, what's the breakdown on that surety bond?
Oh, it's going to be $4,000. Oh, no, it's going to be $7,000 for the DUI and $1,000 for the improper erratic lane change. Thank you, Ms. Falk. I appreciate that. Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Good afternoon. Yes, have a good afternoon.
You as well.
Thank you.
Your Honor, we have position number 1, Mr. Cameron Anderson.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Anderson. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. You've been charged in case 22 CR 000417C with criminal trespass and damage to property. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
11 total. History out of DC and Minnesota. Last arrest was April 2020. Suspended license, stuff I taken, hit and run. That's 20 CP 191052. There's an open DUI in state court. Speeding and failure to maintain lane. 21 CR 003 939C. All right, let's see. Suspended license from 2015. Marijuana possession 2012. A 2019 arrest in DC, unauthorized use of a vehicle. 2 counts. 2 counts of possession of a controlled substance. I don't see a disposition for that. 2017 arrest in Minnesota, financial transaction card fraud. Giving false name, identity theft. The financial transaction card fraud was a conviction. That giving false name was dismissed, and identity theft was dismissed. That's it.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Howard. Ms. Deidre?
Yes, Your Honor. So here, officers arrived at 6995 Roswell Road. They went to apartment I in Atlanta. They spoke with Ashley Ganton, who stated that the defendant came over to retrieve his belongings. After collecting his items, an argument ensued between Miss Glinton and the defendant. The defendant exited the apartment and Ms. Glinton closed and locked the door. The defendant stated to Ms. Glinton that he had left his phone. She retrieved it, tossed it to the defendant, and closed and locked the door again. The defendant tried to talk his way back in, but during so, he stated, "If nobody answers the door, I'm going to kick it down." The defendant proceeded to kick the door, causing it to break. He left damage to the door, a broken door frame, and the lock was also broken. He caused approximately $400 in damages. We talked to the victim. She does not fear the defendant, and she wants no violent contact. She stated that they do not live together and that they do not share any children together. She also stated that they did have an argument on Christmas Day where the police were called, but no arrest was made, and that the apartment complex did fix the door. We're asking for a $2,500 surety bond, a stay away from 6995 Roswell Road, Atlanta, no further contact with Ashley Glanton, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Your Honor, the reason is because the defendant is a flight risk, given that he is a multi-state offender from Minnesota, Washington, and here, Your Honor. He also has 2 open cases, as pretrial has stated, and we're concerned for the victim's safety in this case, Your Honor. So that's why we're asking for the stated conditions in the bond.
Okay. Ms. Kim? You're on mute.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Anderson has been here in Georgia more than 11 years, and he has a strong ties with the family here. His mother's here, and I do not think he is a flight risk at this point. And also, I had a chance to speak with Ms. Felicia, her mother, and his mother wanted to join us today. However, she does not know how to use the Zoom yet. So even though I sent her a link, I don't think that she is here yet because she may not. Oh, she's here. She's here. So would you please, I will let you talk to, we will let her talk later. But anyway, so she is here as a witness. And Mr. Anderson has been working as an option trader. He graduated from college with a finance degree. He has a bachelor's degree, and he also has trade school education. He has been successfully working as a trader with his own business for the last 6 years. And he's taking care of her mother, who has a breast cancer right now. And he has been a great caregiver to his mom. So since this happened while he was not even at the scene, my client is claiming that the complaining witness was actually fabricating the story, and he is presumed to be innocent, regardless of whatever happened with other cases that is nothing to do with criminal trespass. I believe he should be qualified for signature bond. If not, we pray that he can have a lower bond so that way he can go back and take care of his mother, who is here.
Your Honor, Ashley S. is the victim, Miss Ashley Glanton.
Okay, thank you. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to give Ms. Glanton the opportunity to speak if she would like to speak, and then I will give Mr. Anderson's mother the opportunity to speak if she would like to speak. Ms. Glanton, if you would like to speak, I'll need for you to unmute yourself and I'll need to swear you in. So if you can raise your right hand for me. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Thank you, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
Okay, so to begin, the story was not fabricated. It was actually recorded on my Ring light, my Ring camera that is outside my door. So there was proof of the incident and everything being said. Also, my 2-year-old child was in the back room when that happened. So that's that. I don't feel unsafe from him, but another thing, his mother did try to get me to drop the warrant as long as he was to go to counseling. So I do think he needs to visit some type of anger management because he does have anger issues.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Glanton. Let's see. What's his mother's name, Ms. Kim?
Felicia Reed.
Ms. Reed, if you would like to address the court, I will need for you to unmute yourself and I'll have to swear you in also, okay? Okay. You should have something on your phone with a little microphone that you can.
Okay. My name is Felicia Anderson. I'm Cameron Anderson's mom.
Okay, hold on, Miss Anderson. Can you raise your right hand for me?
Okay.
Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And can you make yourself put yourself in a stationary position for us?
Okay. Okay.
All right. What would you like to tell the court?
I would just like to tell the court, I know that they did pull up some other cases on my son, but I would like those to not be taken in account. I think he he ran across some people off of IG. That's why he was in Minnesota. My son is not a flight risk. He is not going anywhere because he is my primary caregiver and he's trying to get his life back. He is now currently in counseling. He's getting ready to go to CDL school in 2 weeks. I begged him not to engage in this relationship with Ashley, because from the very beginning, it was toxic. And I told him I felt nothing from her spirit, but he didn't listen to me. He thought he was in love. I love her. I love her. And the relationship was doomed from the beginning. So it's not Cameron's fault. I'm not saying it's his fault or her fault, but it was a situation that happened that I don't think that he should be held accountable for, because I'm currently getting ready to bring charges against Ashley. She shot up my son's house, and I have evidence of it a week ago. And I'm getting ready to press charges.
And
Okay,
I
so hold on. Listen.
activities that got that house shot up.
Would you please mute her? Thank you. All right, so I don't want to hear anything else about that. If that's what you're gonna do, you go ahead and do that. Ms. Anderson, I just wanted to hear things about that would help me understand the situation.
I would just like for you to take consideration, my son is not a bad guy. He's a good guy. He's tried to strive for best. I'm a single parent, and I just think we can address the charge at hand, because all that other stuff, some of it is pending, and I've hired attorneys and everything to take care of that. He just ran into bad times with some bad people. He are no longer involved with those people. He's getting ready to attend CDL school in 2 weeks, and we just want to go on with our lives. And I just wish you would take this into consideration. Thank you.
Your Honor, if I may, we continue to ask for the no further contact, just to ensure the safety of the victim.
Oh, there's not going to be any contact, Ms. Guidry, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay.
Okay. And again, there is a risk of reoffense given his criminal history and those open cases. Your Honor,
what's the stay away Roswell Road address again for me, please?
6995 Roswell Road. Your Honor, we're asking for the entire complex. It's in Atlanta.
He doesn't have any reason to be at that complex, does he, Ms. Kim?
No, we do not object, Your Honor.
Your client has his hand raised. Mr. Anderson, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. I would advise you to let Ms. Kim speak on your behalf. Ms. Kim still has his hand raised, so.
May I please have a breakout with him if we have to, because I don't know.
Mr. Anderson?
Mr. Anderson, I don't.
I would like to speak on my own behalf, Your Honor, if you don't mind.
Well, you have a right to remain silent, Mr. Anderson. Quite often people think that they're going to help themselves by speaking, but you must know that this is being recorded. You're on YouTube at the present time. You have solicitors here that are taking down everything that you have to say, and quite often people think that they might say something, they might be trying to help their case, when in actuality they're hurting their case. So it's up to you. But if I would, but you have Ms. Kim representing you. So with that said,
may I speak?
I strongly advise not to, but he and I can have a breakout, maybe, Your Honor, if that's okay. So I don't know what needs to talk about.
Okay, I mean, I'm happy to let you call him on the phone, the courtroom too,
Sure.
and maybe in the meantime we can move on to someone else.
Sure.
Extension 22392, Ms. Kim, extension 22392.
What's the area code?
It's 404-612-2392.
Okay, thank you.
All right, he'll be waiting.
Thank you.
All right, so I believe that Ms. Kim's cases are the ones at the beginning of the calendar. Do we have any cases?
We can go to position 16, Mr. Cullum Watson. Position 16, Cullum Watson.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Watson. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Watson, you've been charged in case 22 CR 000430Y with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
No.
Okay, Ms. Duncan?
Yes, Your Honor, this incident occurred yesterday at 700 Greenvine Place at around 12 a.m. Officers were dispatched to the scene. There was a altercation between the defendant and Mr. James Watson, both common spelling. He's the parent and other person living in the household. with the defendant. Here, Mr. Watson had told the defendant to turn off a video game and to stop yelling and cursing. However, the defendant refused to and started punching the walls. Mr. Watson approached the defendant and the defendant shoved and punched Mr. Watson. Mr. Watson did defend himself. Mr. James Watson did defend himself and punch back. Both parties were injured in this altercation. And because of the violent nature of this offense, and the fact that, because of the violent nature, my apologies, we're requesting a $3,000 surety bond. Our victim witness advocate did speak with the victim in this case. He did clarify that he is the father of the defendant. He says that he doesn't want to press charges. He says that he believes that his son has some mental health or ADHD issues and doesn't know how to handle situations properly. He also stated that the pandemic and not being able to return to school or work is having to move back in with his parents is causing some issues for the defendant. We're still, given the violent nature of this offense, asking for no further contact, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, 1-day anger awareness, and a stay away from the incident location.
Right. Who's representing Mr. Watson?
That'd be me, Judge. Good afternoon. Good
afternoon, Mr. Judge. You're going in and out on me.
Okay. Is this better?
Keep talking. Okay, I can see you moving now. Go ahead.
Is this better?
Yes, that is better.
Okay, yeah. Good afternoon, Judge. My client's 27, 28 years old. He did have a job, and I agree with a lot of what the state said because I spoke with his father as well, who is on the call. He had a pretty good culinary career going out there in Colorado that COVID killed, so he did have to come back to Georgia here and live with his parents. He's lived in Georgia for an extended period of time. He's got no criminal history, and apparently he's got some issues that they are starting to address as a family and him individually. They were caused by a car accident that he was in, where he was ejected through the rear window. The father said to me that this was not nearly as violent or cantankerous as might be reported by law enforcement. So that's a factual dispute that we'll take up at the appropriate time. However, consider my client lives with his father. His father wants him to come back home and is one of the few parents that I've ever had, especially on a misdemeanor first appearance, appear to, say that. I'd ask for no violent contact. I think that's certainly appropriate. And given the lack of any indications of a flight risk or a danger to the community, I think a signature bond would also be appropriate. And Judge, if you would like to hear from his father, he is on the call, and his name is James Watson.
I see you there, Mr. Watson. If you would like to address the court, I need for you to unmute yourself, raise your right hand for me. You swear from the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Your Honor.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Mr. Watson, what would you like to tell the court?
I think what happened on Saturday night was just a culmination of everything that's happened over the last 18 months to 2 years, with his college closing down, having to move back home, struggling to find work in an industry he's passionate about, which is the hospitality culinary. And he's bounced around from job to job trying to make it work. He's never ever sat around, expecting any handouts. He's a good kid. And I think that was just out of character. It was a father-son argument that just got out of hand. And I just want to say I wasn't injured. I don't know if the police, maybe that was a little bit inaccurate, but I can take that up with the lawyer. But I feel very, very comfortable with having my son at home. We are in the process of getting him some counseling to help address the ADHD. He is on medication for that. And I just feel that it's more beneficial to have him home where we can help than send him away anywhere else. I have no fear of my son at all.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Watson. As such, it's going to be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail, no further violent contact with James Watson, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. All right. Good luck to you both, Mr. Watsons.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge. And that completes my business. Can I be excused?
Yes. Have a good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. Your Honor.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, what was that bond amount?
It was a $2,000 signature bond through the jail.
Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
can we go back to position number 1, Mr. Cameron Anderson?
Okay, is there an announcement, Ms. Kim?
Yes, we just would like to just reiterate the fact that he has been in the jail for the last 3 days for this incident. And we asked for a signature bond. If not, please give him a maximum of $200 low bond, please. That's it, Your Honor.
Okay, so if nothing else, it's going to be a $5,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Ashley Glanton. Stay away from the 6995 Roswell Road address, the entire complex. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond, and he is to remain in counseling that he's presently in. All right, I'm giving you the opportunity, Mr. Anderson, to get out, but you're going to have to make sure that you show up for your next court hearing. And at this point in time, you and Ms. Glanton can have no contact. If you are in contact with Ms. Glanton, any type of contact, then you'll be in violation of this bond. There can be no Facebook contact, no Twitter contact, no personal contact, no phone contact, no contact whatsoever. You understand me?
Yes, Your Honor, and thank you again.
Okay. And just so you know, I put this at a $5,000 signature bond, which means that if you violate this bond and it's revoked, then you're going to have to, then it's going to be $5,000. You understand?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Who do we have next?
We got position number 2, Mr. Tyrone Brown.
Good afternoon, Mr. Brown. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honor, yes.
Thank you. Mr. Brown, you've been charged in case 22 CR 000418Y with improper erratic lane change and driving under the influence of alcohol less safe. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Fifth arrest. Last arrest was 2019, suspended license, identity theft fraud, possession of counterfeit, fictitious identifying information. He's on probation for all of that. Got a shoplifting dismissed from 2011. 2011 failure to appear, suspended license.
Anything else?
Yeah, I got one more. I got an arrest out of Maryland. Possession, sale, unstamped cigs. I guess they're cigarettes. It just says cigs. But he was put on probation for that. That's it.
Ms. Guidry?
Yes, Your Honor. So here, officers responded to a call that stated that a driver was failing to maintain lane while driving east on Holcomb Bridge Road. After the driver turned around and continued driving west on Holcomb Bridge Road. The officer located the vehicle, and while behind the vehicle again failed to maintain lane while continuing to travel on Holcomb Bridge Road. Officers were able to pull the vehicle over, and upon speaking to the defendant, he stated that he failed to maintain his lane due to him looking at his GPS on his cell phone. He also stated that he was coming from his job. While speaking to him, the officer could smell the strong odor of alcoholic beverage. He asked the defendant had he consumed any alcohol prior to driving, which the defendant stated that he had a Moscow Mule mixed drink. The defendant conducted a field sobriety test in which he conducted very poorly, Your Honor. The state's recommending a $7,500 surety bond, $5,000 for the DUI, and $2,500 for the erratic lane change, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and absolutely no driving. Your Honor, the defendant's criminal history is extensive given the number of citations as well. He has citations for erratic lane change from 2018. We have no disposition for it. Driving on the wrong side of the road, 2016. 3 speeding tickets following too closely. Your Honor, he also has several open charges, theft by shoplifting, criminal trespassing, 3 criminal attempt to commit felonies, all open, Your Honor. And he also has 5 arrests just from last year for failure to appear, Your Honor. So he is a flight risk. And given again his citation history and the open cases, he is a flight risk and a danger to the community, given the way he was driving in the community, Your Honor. So that's why we're asking for the stated recommendation.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Guidry. I see you there with your hand up, Mr. Brown. If you just put it down, I'll give you the opportunity to speak with your lawyer or, so just hold on for me, okay? Ms.
Yeah.
Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Brown is 29 years old. He has been here in Georgia for more than 20 years. He came here when he was elementary student, and he lives with his mother, Ms. Takesha, and he is working as a photographer, film developer, and video maker. And he also served in ROTC when he was in high school. He graduated from high school, and currently he is Morehouse College student. He's studying psychology and business administration. And because of his status as a student, he does not have a lot of assets to put high bond at this point. And on that day with a DUI and driving improper lane change, my client denies all the allegations. And he also went to the doctor's office at that day. I guess police took him to a doctor. And I believe that he believes that he can prove his innocence. He's presumed to be innocent before it gets proven. And if the signature bond is not admissible, we ask for $500 bond, Your Honor. And I'll be happy to call Mr. Brown. Is it same phone number, courtroom 2? I can call for 1 minute if he still wants to talk, because I strongly.
Mr. Brown, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. Did you, and I would advise that you take the advice of your counsel and not speak. Did you have a question regarding the proceeding, or do you have a question of that nature, or do you have something that you need to speak with Ms. Kim in private about?
Several things to speak with Ms. Kim in private about, but initially my hand was raised in regards to the past that was being alleged as open, that my previous probation officer can provide documentation of me not having any open cases, any lingering conflict, and that my past was co-defendant induced, and there was a past of multiple factors.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Anything further you need to talk to your counsel about regarding this case?
Yes, one thing just in regards to.
Okay, hold on.
I'll call you, Mr. Brown. Let me call you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else we can take in courtroom 2?
All I have is position 5, 7, position 4 and 8, which are interpreter cases. And I guess these are all Ms. Kim's, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is the South Annex on? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. We have position 14, Ms. Nadikaman. Come on, have a seat right there.
Is that your case, Ms. Gant?
The state is requesting a breakout room for this case, Your Honor.
Hi.
All right, so Ms. Duncan, who would you like to be in that breakout room, Ms. Falk?
Myself, Ms. Falk, and defense counsel.
Okay, and
And
myself?
you.
Thank you. All right, you can put us in a breakout room, please. And hold on. Before you put me in the breakout room, let me go back to courtroom 2 and Mr. Brown.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Brown is ready to speak. I mean, he does not want to speak anymore. I just wanted to reiterate the fact that he is working part-time because he has to take care of his mother as a caregiver as well. He works and lives with his mother. He's not a flight risk, and please consider a low bond. That's it, Your Honor.
All right, so it's going to be a $500 surety bond for the improper erratic lane change, a $1,500 surety bond for the DUI, making it a total of $2,000 surety bond. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Brown.
Your Honor, are you limiting driving?
This is his first DUI offense, and if he has a valid license, he can drive.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
License, he
What's
obviously-
that total again?
It's 2,000.
All right.
Okay, courtroom 2, while I'm in a breakout room with the South Annex, can we go to a breakout room with one of Ms. Kim's clients and the interpreter? Is that possible?
I guess, but I have position 5 and 7 ready too. They're ready
Well,
to go.
I'm just saying, I'm gonna be in a breakout room, so instead of wasting time, and having you all just sit there, if you can go into a breakout room, that can help us move this forward a bit, possibly.
Okay, which, both of them are Miss Kim's? Position 4 and position 8?
Yes,
Okay, that sounds good. We can do that, Your Honor.
All right,
Thank
good,
you.
thank you. Ms. Chancey, how are you today?
Very well, thank you, sir. Can you hear me?
Good. Yes, I can hear you. Yeah,
Okay.
we appreciate you being here. Okay,
You're
so
very welcome.
we are going to put you in a breakout room, Ms. Chancey, with Ms. Kim in courtroom 2, and then I'll go into a breakout room with South Annex. Well, not just with Ms. Duncan, Ms. Gant, and Ms. Falk.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you all.
Give me a second, Judge. I have to redo those rooms.
Okay.
I messed them up.
All right. All right, so, Ms. McDemin, I see that you have your hand up there. Ms. Gant has represented you, or is representing you. I'll give her the opportunity to speak with you after court. We've had a discussion, and I see you also there, Mr. Hagan. We've had a discussion regarding this case in the breakout room. As such, my ruling is going to be a $3,000 surety, a mental health evaluation and treatment if necessary. No further contact with Mr. Hagan. Stay away from the 995 Canton Street, Suite 100 address. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
I'm charging the government, and I'm also your government boss. I'm your superior.
Okay, thank you, South Annex. All right. So Mr. Hagan, she's not to contact you or in any way whatsoever, and she's also, as a requirement of this bond, going to have have a mental health evaluation. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, and I think that completes position 14. Okay. You have a good afternoon, Mr. Hagan.
Thank you.
Mr. McLean, I've been told that you are representing Mr. or Miss Jones. Is that right?
Kyrie Jones, yes,
Oh,
sir.
Okay,
On Saturday's session, he thought he wasn't able to make court for several days because somebody believes he may have been exposed. And so they've quarantined him because he may have been exposed. So he hasn't been able to be brought to court for several days. And on Saturday, I went to the jail Saturday to see him, and he thought he could make his bond. His situation is dire financially now. We may have caused him to lose his job, which is a shame. We realize the case is serious. His bond is at $25K. And we need to get him in a situation where he can get out of this jail and prepare. Overall in his life, Your Honor,
Okay, Mr. McLean, can you hold on? I don't know anything about the case right this second, so I just wanted to let me hear about the case first, and then
Sure.
And when you say that this is a cruelty to animals charge, you have filed a waiver of his appearance. Is that right?
I have not filed it yet, but he has signed it. I came to the jail again today, and he has signed.
Okay.
File that.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure that that's been done.
Yes.
Let's see, Mr. Howard. What is your history?
Yes, I got 6 total.
Okay.
We got history out of Virginia and Georgia. I'm gonna go with Virginia first.
Okay.
2012 contempt of court that was dismissed. Another 2012 arrest, contempt of court, failure to appear guilty. Another 2012 shoplifting, non-pros. As far as Georgia, last arrest was January 21st, 2022, suspended registration. He was at the city jail for that. September 2020, suspended license, warrant issued for that one. And he has an FTA warrant out of Lawrenceville. Is it?
Is that for traffic? Do you know?
It doesn't say. I'm not sure.
Okay.
It could be because the case number says number T21, so it could be traffic because of that T.
Yeah, it's probably traffic. Let's see. What is he's charged with cruelty to animals, Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident started on December 8th, 2021 at around 11:30 p.m. That was over at 200 Edgewood Avenue, Northeast, apartment 513, Atlanta, Georgia, 30303. What occurred is officers actually spoke to Fta Brown. They got a resident of apartment 512 who had called police after recording an audio where the male could be heard yelling and cursing at the dog, which was Storm, who's a male pit bull, and hitting it with something. Law enforcement went with the manager, knocked on apartment 513, met with Micaiah Brown. I just want to note, Your Honor, that when Micaiah Brown opened the door, she had bruising to her face. And she stated that her boyfriend, the defendant, had disciplined the dog the previous evening and the police had already been out to speak with them. When they interviewed the defendant, he actually admitted to beating the dog with a belt. And another witness stated that the defendant was not taking care of or feeding the dogs or taking it on walks. He stated that the defendant told him he wasn't doing these things because the dog was ungrateful. And that witness also stated he heard the defendant hitting the dog from down the hall because the hits were so loud they could hear it in other apartments. And they also heard the defendant state that when he caught his breath, he was going for round 2 with that dog. And the witness further stated this is not the first time she had heard barking, yelling, and hitting this dog. She had heard this on multiple occasions previously. This dog is owned by Miss Brown. However, the defendant, for whatever reason, has taken it upon himself to discipline this dog in such a brutal and violent way that literally neighbors in the building can hear him doing this. We know that the bond is currently set at $25,000 surety. We are recommending a $5,000 surety bond. We are asking that he have no contact with any animals in this household, or quite frankly, any animal, period, that he not own or have contact with any animals while this case is pending. We are also asking for no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. We're further asking for 1 day of anger awareness. There is something seriously at issue here where we not only have this beating of a dog on frequent occasions, but what really concerns the state is that when Miss Brown opened the door, when police arrived, she had bruising to her face that she was not able to explain to the officers as to how that happened. We do have concerns about the defendant's failure to appear, not only from 2021 out of Lawrenceville and Gwinnett County, but also that failure to appear back in 2012 that was dismissed out of Brunswick County, Virginia. Furthermore, because the defendant has ties to Virginia, we are concerned that he does not have sufficient ties with this community. For those reasons, we are asking for the bond as stated.
Thank you, Ms. Falk. Mr. McLean?
We certainly do appreciate that it is a reduction and a substantial one. However, his financial situation has been decimated. He does have ties to the community of Atlanta in that Ms. Brown is his girlfriend, and he has shown initiative as a young person, following through on his education. He went to elementary, middle, and high school in East Orange. In New York City, he worked as a sous chef at a fine dining restaurant with 2 Michelin stars named Lamb Club, and it put him in a position where he could come to Atlanta and go to a very good restaurant and get a job. And so he is I forget the title exactly, but he's going well in his career. In the long run, Your Honor, this is going to be looked back upon as being out of character. He needs a bond that would be a signature bond or a $1,000 or $2,000 bond if possible. I've talked to his mother. They can raise that kind of money. But I'm afraid he may have lost his job here in Atlanta now, but he does have his girlfriend here, so he does have community ties. He wants to be in Atlanta. For right now, he probably ought to gather his resources by just going back home and getting some money up, but he does not intend to miss court. The thing in Lawrenceville is a traffic offense. It's a speeding, he believes. And while it's regretful that there has been some previous FTA, he is not going to be having that again. He'll be watching his mail a lot closer.
Okay, so if he's not allowed to go back to the Edgewood Avenue address, does he have someplace he can go?
I don't believe that's where I could be wrong. I don't believe that's where he lives. He has friends. He has places he can stay in Atlanta. I don't have an address, for Your Honor. I'm at the jail parking lot. Don't have access to some of my files.
Okay, that's fine, Mr. McClay. Ms. Falk, is that where the dog is at the 200 Edgewood Avenue?
Yes, Your Honor. That is our last piece of information regarding where the dog is located and where Miss Brown is located, which is why we're asking for a stay away.
Okay.
And if I might say one small little thing too, we appreciate from the reading of the state that it is a serious case. We understand that. It was a relief to at least see in the police report in 3 different places the word playful, that when the police investigated, The dog appeared to be unfearful, unhurt, and playful.
And what about Miss Brown, Miss Falk? I know that she's, I mean, that's her, supposedly her dog and her residence. So if I make him stay away from animals, make him stay away from the residents, is that sufficient for the state?
I mean, yes, Your Honor, because this does not, I mean, although we have some concerns regarding Miss Brown and the treatment of Miss Brown, we don't have anything substantive. And so we could not, I don't think in good faith, ask for no further contact with Miss Brown. However, we are asking for no further contact with the dog. And because the dog lives at the residence, stay away from the residence. If he wants to have contact with Miss Brown, he can do so outside of the house, is what we are requesting.
Okay.
That's certainly suitable.
That's great. Okay, so it's going to be a $2,000 surety bond. Stay away from the 200 Edgewood Avenue address. No contact with any animals while out on bond, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Very good.
All right. Anything further, Mr. McLean?
Nothing, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. You have a good evening.
Okay. Thank you. I'll ask to be excused.
Okay, sure. Have a good afternoon.
Bye-bye.
Let's see. I think that courtroom 2 is still in the breakout, so we will be in recess until someone from courtroom 2 comes back. All right, are we ready, Ms. Kim?
She just left with me, Your Honor.
She's on mute. Thank you. Okay, courtroom 2, where do you want to go?
We can go to, can we take care of these other two before we start the interpretive cases?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, we're gonna go to position number 7, Mr. Tony Hines.
Hines is also mine as well. Yes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hines. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 22 CR 000431B with battery, family violence, criminal trespass, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Is there history, Mr. Howard?
3rd arrest, 2017, suspended license, NOLO, 2007, possession of marijuana, dismissed.
Ms. Guidry?
Yes, Your Honor. So here, officers arrived at 1002 Monterey, that's Monterey Parkway in Sandy Springs. They spoke with Teresa, it's Teresa Wiff, WIFF, who stated that the defendant, who lives with her and who has a child with her, struck her across the face and threw her to the ground, causing a small laceration to her right elbow. This occurred in the presence of the defendant's 10-year-old son. The defendant then ripped 2 televisions off the wall, which were mounted, and caused them to become inoperable. Your Honor, the state's recommending a $4,000 surety for the battery, family violence, and a $500 surety for each the criminal trespass and the cruelty to children 3rd degree. Your Honor, the state's concerns here are risk of reoffending and intimidation of the witness. Oh, and we also would like to include a stay away from the address, no further contact with, a 3rd-party contact with any children may have, 1-day anger awareness, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Again, Your Honor, the state's concerns.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. The state's concerns here are the risk of reoffending and intimidation of the witness. We spoke to the victim. She stated that she is fearful of him. She wants him to come home, Your Honor, but that's due to the cycles of violence, given that she wants him to help her financially, Your Honor, but we are opposed to that. She also stated that she's unsure whether or not the defendant will be violent again, Your Honor, if he returns home. So we're concerned for her safety. And Your Honor, we're also concerned that the defendant had little disregard for the safety of his own child when he committed this act. So that's why we're asking for the bond.
Thank you, Ms. Guidry. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, please, actually, pretrial report clearly states that he meets criteria for signature bond because this is his first offense as a family violence. And he has been here for almost all his life, and he was born here, and he has he's not opposed to stay away contact or no further contact, anything like that. He is willing to move into a brother's place until, you know, his wife feels better. I mean, not wife, his girlfriend feels better. He's working as Amazon as a driver, delivery driver. He has been working there, and he wants to continuously drive so he can provide support for his 10 years old son. And also he has 8-month-old son with Miss Teresa Wiff, the complaining witness, who is his girlfriend right now. And since they have been living together for 5 years, for the last 5 years, there was no other incident like this. So I asked for a low bond if it is necessary. However, I strongly recommend to have a signature bond, Your Honor. That's it, Your Honor.
So for the battery, family violence, a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial. For the criminal trespass and the cruelty to children, a $500 signature bond each through pretrial, which makes for a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial. 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Teresa Wiff, stay away from the Monterey Parkway address, He can go back to that address on one occasion with the escort of law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. And he can also have contact with his children, but it will have to be third-party contact, given that he's not to have any contact with Ms. Griff at the present time. No drugs, no alcohol, no weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Good luck, Mr. Hines.
That's a $5,000 signature SOB with pretrial, Your Honor.
That's correct, yes.
Thank you. We got position number 5, Mr. Kendrick Gordon.
Your Honor, Mr. Kendrick Gordon is mine too, so please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gordon. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Huh?
We're doing this by video, sir. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay. You've been charged in case 22 CR 000421C with simple battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
48 total. Yeah. Last arrest was February 2020. Failed to appear for disorderly conduct. 2019 trespass arrest. 2019 possession of drug-related objects. 2017 obstruction, felony conviction. 2017 FTA for felony obstruction. 2016 felony obstruction arrest. Got a probation violation for battery obstruction, 2 counts. Misdemeanor possession of marijuana, trespass, disorderly conduct, another obstruction. That is from 2016. 2016 obstruction, criminal trespass dismissed. 2014 trespass, misdemeanor possession of marijuana conviction. We got a lot of trespasses. Failure to appears. I saw 2013 actually, criminal trespass, battery, felony obstruction arrest. 2012 battery family violence arrest. I'm not sure the disposition is not on the GCIC. 2012 obstruction trespass conviction. Disorderly conduct conviction. 2012.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. Ms. Guidry?
Yes, Your Honor. So here, officers arrived at 2177 Baker Terrace, Northwest Atlanta. They spoke with Dante Gordon, who is the brother of the defendant. He stated that they were having a verbal dispute. Upon officers leaving after this incident, Mr. Dante Gordon was seen running outside of the door with his pants on the ground. It was learned that the defendant shoved Mr. Dante Gordon to the ground and pulled his pants down after Mr. Dante was trying to lock the front door of the residence. Your Honor, we're recommending a $5,000 surety bond, a stay away from the incident location, located at Baker Terrace Northwest, no further contact with Dante Gordon, 1-day anger awareness, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Your Honor, the state's concerns here are that the defendant is a huge flight risk, given the amount of failure to appears he has, at least 9 from what I've counted, starting back from 2009 and his last being in 2020. He also had 10 probation violations in 2016 alone, and he also had a battery 2020 on his criminal history, but there was no disposition. So, Your Honor, we're highly concerned with his flight risk, given that he showed in the past that he will not return to court. And he will not return again, Your Honor. So that's why we're recommending it.
Thank you, Ms. Guidry. Ms. Kim?
Your Honor, actually, this client was referred to consider mental health evaluation since there's no pending felonies. And complaining witness was his brother, younger brother, that we could not contact to talk to him. If we can have his contact, it would be great. When I spoke with Mr. Gordon, he has been here almost all his life, even though he was born in Ohio. He has been in Georgia for a very, very long time. He lives with his grandma at 2177 Baker. So the incident location, which is 2177 Baker Terrace, is his place. So if he gets a stay away order, he has to have another place or alternative place that he has to go to. At this point, he does not have that. So we would like that to be considered. And he has not been able to work, and he finished up to 10th grade in high school. He could not graduate yet. He has not served any military, and he has brothers and sisters. He's not married. He does not have a driver's license. That's why I don't think that he's a flight risk, because he cannot drive anywhere. He cannot fly to anywhere without driver's license. And it seems like a brother is willing to, he's not actually the person who actually came up with a charge. So we would like to ask for low bond for this case, Your Honor.
Are you requesting an MHE, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so it's going to be a $3,000 good bond, mental health evaluation, and treatment if necessary. Stay away from the 2177 Baker Terrace address. You can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. No further contact with Dante Gordon, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck to you, Mr. Gordon.
I know. Hold on. Go. I get tired early. Hey, dude, come on. Come on, Kendrick. You ain't saying nothing bad? No. Okay, I understand. Go ahead. Come on. Y'all think that guy's gonna be? Kendrick, go ahead. I ain't got no money. Okay, so you go wait too. Come on, go ahead. Sorry, Your Honor. We got position number 4, Mr. Gomez.
Okay, that's no problem. And if we can get, okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Gomez. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. We're conducting this calendar by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Buenas tardes, señor Gómez. Soy el juez Eric Morrow y esta es la audiencia de la lista de causas estatales de trámite rápido. Estamos conduciendo esta teleaudiencia para evitar el contagio del virus. ¿Está de acuerdo con que tratemos su caso de esta manera?
Oh, that's it.
Yes.
Mr. Gordon, you've been charged in case 22CR000421C with simple battery.
Señor, usted ha sido acusado en el caso 22CR00421C por golpes y lesiones.
No.
I'm sorry, this is case 22CR000420E, simple battery.
Perdón, es el 420C por el cargo de golpes y lesiones.
Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
¿Hay antecedentes?
This is third arrest.
Este es el tercer arresto.
Previous 2 come out of the state of Texas.
Previous what, sir?
Previous 2 arrests come out of the state of Texas.
Y los 2 arrestos anteriores ocurrieron en el estado de Texas.
2014 entry without inspection and alien inadmissibility.
Uno por allanamiento de morada y por inadmisibilidad de indocumentación.
And illegal entry.
Y por también allanamiento de morada.
Yes, Your Honor. Officers arrived at 5950 State Bridge Road, Duluth.
Los oficiales llegaron al 5950 State Bridge Road.
They spoke with Maria Lazo, Lazo, and Stephanie Burrell, who are employees of Target.
Hablaron con María Lazo y Stephanie Barrow, quienes son empleadas de Target.
The employee stated that the defendant entered the store and made an attempt to gain the attention of several females by following them around the store and making verbal remarks in an attempt to have sexual relations.
Ellas declararon que este acusado entró al negocio y tratando de llamar la atención de algunas damas, siguiéndolas y hablándolas con, haciendo aseveraciones, invitando a relaciones íntimas.
Ms. Lazo approached the defendant in an attempt to keep him from approaching more customers and requested him to leave.
La señora o señorita Lazo se acercó al acusado con la intención de prevenir que él continuara haciendo esto a otras damas y le pidió que se retirara.
The defendant refused and attempted to grab Ms. Lazo and force her into his presence. However, Ms. Lazo was able to dodge the defendant.
El acusado rechazó esto, trató de agarrar a la señora Lazo, quien pudo esquivarlo.
Afterwards, Ms. Lazo continued to walk with the defendant toward the exit.
A continuación, la señora Lazo trató de seguir caminando hacia la salida con el acusado.
And while walking, the defendant rubbed his hands through her hair, making her feel extremely uncomfortable.
Y mientras iban caminando, el acusado acercó sus manos hacia su cabello, haciéndola sentir a la señora Lazo muy incómoda.
Ms. Lazo also stated that the defendant reeked of alcohol.
Y que la señora Lazo también declaró que el acusado olía profundamente a alcohol.
Your Honor, the state's recommending a $4,500 surety bond, a stay away from 5950 State Bridge Road, Duluth, which is Target.
También la fiscalía pide una multa de $4,500, una fianza bajo garantía y que se mantenga alejado del domicilio del 5950 State Bridge Road en Duluth.
No further contact with Maria Lazo, a one-day anger awareness, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Que no tenga ningún tipo de contacto con la señora Lazo, que tome una clase de manejo para la ira y se queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas.
And the defendant currently has a $2,000 surety bond.
Este acusado tiene una fianza de $2,000 bajo garantía.
Your Honor, the state is concerned that the defendant is a danger to the community.
Y la fiscalía teme que este acusado sea un peligro para la comunidad.
This is due to the nature of the offense, given that he tried to attempt to make sexual remarks and acts toward patrons of the store.
Y esto se debe a que este acusado intentó acercarse a los clientes de este establecimiento haciendo aseveraciones que invitaban a una relación sexual.
And given that he also tried to force an employee upon his presence.
Y también que trató de forzar a una empleada en su presencia.
Your Honor, he's also a flight risk given that he has an illegal entry charge from Texas and that he will either run to Texas or the country from which he's from.
Y también él es un riesgo de fuga ya que tiene un cargo por una entrada ilegal y hay posibilidades de que él pueda irse hacia Texas.
That's the reason for the state's recommendation.
Esas son las razones que tiene la fiscalía.
Thank you, Ms. Deidre. Ms.
You're
Kim?
welcome.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Gomez is 29 years old, and he's from Guatemala. He has been here in Georgia for more than 6 years. And I totally consent with state's recommendation about stay away, no further contact, anger management, and no drug, alcohol, weapons. Those are all fine. And yet, I do not think his immigration status should be any relevant here. It should be irrelevant. We are here
One moment, please, Madam Attorney. Thank you.
Yes.
El señor Gómez tiene 29 años. Él es de Guatemala y ha estado en el estado de Georgia por 6 años. Yo entiendo la posición de la fiscalía con respecto a que tome una clase de manejo de la ira, no tenga contacto con la víctima, que se mantenga alejado del establecimiento, que no use drogas, alcohol o use armas, pero lo que no estoy de acuerdo es la conexión con su caso de inmigración, porque no le veo ninguna relevancia o relación con este. Thank you.
And I would emphasize that his immigration status should not be relevant. Just because he came from Guatemala, that does not mean he's a flight risk. He has 2 brothers living together. He also has a sister. He has a family here and with a strong ties to the community. He has a job at a restaurant as a cook.
Hold on, Ms. Kim. Give the interpreter an opportunity.
También por eso yo no creo que tenga ninguna relación su caso con inmigración, y porque él está aquí y no es un riesgo de fuga, ya que tiene 2 hermanos, familia y un trabajo aquí. Go ahead, madam.
Yes, he graduated from high school, and indeed, we do see 2 people in the back behind the glass. They are his brothers.
Y también entonces él se graduó de la escuela secundaria y vemos que hay 2 personas detrás de el vidrio de atrás y esos son sus 2 hermanos.
And he denies all the allegations about the battery charges, and he doesn't speak any English, so I don't know what kind of remarks were made in Spanish to mostly English customers.
One moment, please. Él niega todos los alegatos acerca del cargo de golpes y lesiones. Él no habla en inglés, por eso no sé de qué manera en español se puede confirmar todo este tipo de alegatos. Go ahead, please.
He's presumed to be innocent, and he deserves to be considered equally. And we request for signature bond. If not, maximum $100 bond, Your Honor.
Él se declara inocente. Él considera que quisiera pedirle que se le dé una fianza bajo firma de un monto de $100.
Okay. So it's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the target on Statesbridge Road. No further contact with Ms. Lazo. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Se establece una fianza bajo firma de $3,000. Se debe mantener alejado del local de Target de el 5950 Statebridge Road. Él no puede tener contacto más con la señora Lazo y queda prohibida las drogas, el alcohol y el uso de armas.
Good luck to you, Mr. Gomez.
Buena suerte, señor Gómez.
And last person, I believe, courtroom 2.
Yes. Mr. Jose Jimenez.
Señor José Jiménez.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, it's position number 8, Jose Jimenez.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Jimenez. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. We're conducting this hearing by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Buenas tardes, señor Gómez. Yo soy el juez Morrow y estamos conduciendo esta sesión por teleaudiencia. ¿Está usted de acuerdo que tratemos su caso de este modo?
Sí.
Yes.
You've been charged in case 22 CR 000423D with driving under the influence of alcohol, less safe, and striking an unattended vehicle.
Señor, usted está siendo procesado bajo el caso 212R000423D por manejar bajo la influencia del alcohol, incapacitado por la influencia del alcohol y también por golpear a un vehículo estacionado.
Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
We got 8
Hay
total.
antecedentes. Hay
8
8 antecedentes anteriores.
5 of the 8 is like he was arrested by ICE for alien inadmissibility.
Y 5 de esos cargos son arrestos de inmigración por ilegalidad o indocumentado.
2011 assault second degree dismissed out of Maryland.
Y también un cargo de agresión en Maryland en el 2011.
August 2021 arrest in North Carolina, driving while intoxicated.
Y por manejar bajo el efecto del alcohol en agosto del 2021 en Carolina del Norte.
That's it.
Eso es todo.
Is there, the DUI in North Carolina, was there a resolution?
No.
¿El cargo de Carolina del Norte fue resuelto? No.
Schedule?
Yes, Your Honor. So officers arrived at 5950 State Bridge Road, Jones Creek.
Si los oficiales llegaron al 5950 de State Bridge en Jones Creek.
This is due to a Tahoe striking an unattended Ford Escape in an attempt to leave. And he also hit a Volkswagen Beetle.
One moment, please.
Mm-hmm.
Esto se debió porque debido a un vehículo Tahoe golpear a un Ford Escape que estaba detenido y también a un Volkswagen Beetle.
Upon arrival, they noticed the Tahoe and the rear of the Beetle still in the parking lot.
Cuando llegaron notaron que el vehículo Tahoe y el Beetle todavía estaban en el estacionamiento.
The driver and the passenger of the Beetle were speaking to the defendant, who was still in the driver's seat with his seatbelt on.
El pasajero que estaba en el vehículo, en el Tahoe, estaba todavía hablando con el acusado y tenía puesto el cinturón todavía.
The officer observed the defendant to have red, watery eyes. He spoke with a heavy, slurred tongue.
El oficial notó que el acusado tenía los ojos rojizos y cristalinos y como acuosos.
The defendant had trouble sitting upright and had a strong odor of alcohol coming from his person.
El acusado tenía dificultad para sentarse y pudo oler un fuerte olor a alcohol en él.
The officer also observed within the vehicle a beer can and a 3/4 bottle of Amsterdam.
Did you say 3 and 4 bottles?
Like a 3/4 full.
Oh, 3/4 full. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Y también observó el oficial que había una lata de cerveza vacía y una botella como llena de hasta unos 3/4 de botella de cerveza.
When the driver exited the vehicle, he had to brace himself with his arms against the door frame and the door in an attempt to walk.
Cuando el conductor salió del vehículo, tenía que realmente ayudarse y agarrarse y apoyarse del marco de la puerta para poder pararse y salir.
When out of the vehicle, he was unable to remain standing without bracing himself.
Y no pudo mantenerse parado sin apoyarse o agarrarse del vehículo.
The officer attempted to speak to the defendant, given his lack of English.
El oficial trató de hablar con el acusado, pero debido a la carencia de no poder hablar inglés.
When asked how many drinks he had, the defendant replied 3.
Cuando se le preguntó cuántos tragos había consumido, el acusado contestó 3.
Officers asked if the defendant was willing to perform a field sobriety test, to which he replied no.
Le preguntaron que si podía hacer unas pruebas ahí en el área y la respuesta fue no.
He was arrested, and upon searching the vehicle, officers found, in addition to the above items,
El acusado fue arrestado y también su carro fue registrado y se encontró lo siguiente aparte de los artículos que ya se mencionaron.
a bottle of Grey Goose vodka, 2 empty bottles of Grey Goose vodka, and an empty cardboard 12-pack of Modelo beer with limes.
How many Modelo beers?
It was an empty cardboard 12-pack.
Oh.
Yeah, of Modelo.
Se encontró una botella de vodka, 2 botellas de vodka vacíos y también una caja de cerveza Modelo de 12 botellas o artículos.
The defendant currently has a $1,300 surety bond, $1,000 for the DUI, and $300 for the striking unattended vehicle.
How much for the unattended vehicle, madam?
$300.
Thank you.
Yeah.
En este momento tiene una fianza de $13,000, $1,000 por el manejar bajo los efectos del alcohol y una de $300 por golpear a un vehículo estacionado.
The state is recommending a $4,000 surety bond for the DUI, $1,000 surety for the striking unattended vehicle, making a total of $5,000, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and no driving.
El acusado tiene una fianza de $4,000 por manejar bajo los efectos del alcohol, $1,000 por golpear al vehículo estacionado. Quiere decir que es un total de $5,000 por ambos cargos. Se prohíbe el uso de drogas, alcohol y el uso de armas, y también se le prohíbe manejar un vehículo.
This is due to the defendant being a flight risk, given that he's a multi-state offender from North Carolina, Maryland, and Georgia.
El acusado es un riesgo de fuga debido a todos los cargos ya adquiridos en otros estados fuera de Georgia. Podemos nombrar en Carolina del Norte, Maryland y Georgia.
And also the defendant has a high risk of reoffending, given that he was just arrested in 2021 for a DWI that is still open.
También este acusado se lo considera de riesgo de fuga debido al volver a cometer el mismo cargo en el 2021 por manejar bajo los efectos del alcohol.
And the defendant being a high risk to the community, given the fact that he hit 2 vehicles and still tried to flee.
Y también es un riesgo de fuga para la comunidad debido que golpeó a 2 vehículos y intentó huir después de haberlo hecho.
That's the reason for the state's recommendation.
Esas son las razones por la recomendación de parte de la Fiscalía.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Jose Jimenez, he is 30 years old. He has lived here in Chamblee, Georgia for more than 4 years. He has cousins and friends, and he works as a construction worker. He pours concrete. It's very, very hard work. And the reason that he travels...
One moment, please.
That's right.
El señor tiene 30 años de edad, él vive en Chamblee, Georgia por 4 años ya. Él tiene primos y amigos, trabaja en la construcción, un trabajo muy difícil, él volcando la construcción. Go ahead, Madam Attorney.
Yes. Whenever the company, his employer gets a project in different states, North Carolina, for example, the crews go together. However, they always come back to the Georgia as a permanent residency.
One moment. La compañía con la que él trabaja, él tiene diferentes proyectos en diferentes estados y ellos van a realizar esos trabajos a estos diferentes estados.
And he works for Apolonio Zapata. And
Él trabaja para Apolonio Zapata.
And his education level is 4th grade, elementary school.
Y el último grado que completó en la escuela es el 4º de la primaria.
So we would like to request the low bond of maximum $300, Your Honor.
Queremos pedir una fianza a bajo costo de $300, Su Señoría.
I'm going to leave the bond where it is. $1,000 for the DUI, $300 for the striking unattended vehicle, no driving, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Entonces, yo voy a dejar la recomendación de que la Fiscalía ha establecido. Son los 4,000 más los 300 por golpear un auto sin atender. Queda prohibida las drogas, el uso de alcohol y armas, y el manejar y todo lo demás.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Gracias, señoría.
This completes my representation. May I please be excused?
Yes, Ms. Kim, that's fine. We normally go over the calendar, so if you don't need to go over the calendar with us, then sure.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I believe we're done with not only Madam Interpreter, but also courtroom 2. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, y'all have
Your Honor, I would like to let you know that they would like a repetition for the total amount for Mr. Gomez bond one more time.
I got it already.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'll put it in the chat for him.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay.
Have a good afternoon.
Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I may be excused now, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you so
All right.
much.
You're welcome, sir.
All right, so I have Ms. Bridgewater in court with me this afternoon, so as soon as she's ready, we'll go to the calendar.
Good afternoon. Again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is February the 15th. Position number 1 is reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through the jail. Position 2 is reset to the SAP calendar with a $2,000 total good bond. Position 3, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 4, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. Position 5, reset to the SAP calendar with a $3,000 good bond. Position 6 is being reset to the SAP calendar with a $500 good bond. Position 7 is reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through pretrial, and that's the total bond. Position 8, reset to the SAP calendar with a $1,300 total good bond. Position 9 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 10 is reset to the SAP calendar with a $2,000 good bond. Position 11 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 12 is reset to the SAP calendar with an $8,000 total good bond. Position 13 is reset till tomorrow. It is a medical reset. Position 14 is reset to the SAP calendar with a $3,000 good bond. Position 15 is reset to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 total good bond. And position 16 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. Are there any corrections, comments, or otherwise?
Okay, well, thank you all. We appreciate it. And I guess we will see you tomorrow.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Safe.
Have a good day.